Incoming message.
Welcome back to The Explainer. Look, today we're putting on our investigative journalist hats because we really need to talk about May 26th, 2026. What started as a wild daytime UFO sighting accidentally ripped the lid off a massive, highly classified mystery. We're not just looking at a few isolated data points here. We're talking about a geographic pattern that revealed itself entirely by accident, and it points directly to a place nobody wants to talk about.
So let's just dive right into the core question that frames this entire investigation. Was what happened across the Midwest that day truly a random paranormal event, or does this data look just a little too deliberate? We're going to dig into the raw sighting numbers to see if we're dealing with your standard unpredictable anomalies, or if this was actually a highly coordinated, blindingly fast surveillance grid operating silently right over our backyards.
Section 1. The Duluth Incident, May 26, 2026.
Let's start right at the beginning with this witness testimony because it highlights some absolutely impossible physics. I actually sat down with a local commercial pilot to review this footage, and you know what he said? He pointed out that a metallic object moving rapidly and horizontally with literally zero visible propulsion is baffling enough, but executing a sharp, jarring 90-degree turn in dead silence, he told me point blank, there's no way. Those maneuvers would instantly tear any conventional aircraft to shreds.
And honestly, that's what makes the credibility of this event so rock solid. I ended up speaking with a rather suspicious local dispatch official who was on duty that exact day. And he told me that within a microscopic window of just 4 minutes, right after that initial sighting at 2:47 p.m., the Duluth Police Dispatch literally lit up like a Christmas tree. They fielded 23 separate, frantic calls reporting this exact same metallic object. As he pointed out, localized panic on that scale, that means something very real and very physical was absolutely in that airspace.
Now, of course, the immediate standard explanation handed down to the public was the usual suspect. You know the drill, a rogue weather balloon, or maybe a conventional military aircraft running a routine drill. It's a nice convenient little box to stuff a strange event into, right? But in this explainer, we look at the broader data set. And let me tell you, the data we're about to look at completely shatters that convenient weather balloon theory.
Which brings us to Section 2, a 22-minute window.
Take a look at this incredible 22-minute sequence of identical sightings. It is wild. We start at 2:47 p.m. in Duluth. Just 4 minutes later, at 2:51 p.m., another report comes in from Superior, Wisconsin, describing the exact same silent metallic object. Fast forward 7 minutes to 2:58 p.m., Lake City, Iowa reports it, then 3:02 p.m. in Galena, Illinois, and finally 3:09 p.m. in Freeport, Illinois. Guys, that's a total of 8 separate reports crossing 5 different state lines, all happening in under half an hour. The speed here is just staggering.
Moving on to Section 3, the geometric pattern.
Now things get really crazy when you overlay these reports geographically on a digital map. The result is just, wow. This flight path completely ignores commercial flight lanes, and it doesn't follow local topography or river valleys either. Instead of a random scatter of sightings, the coordinates form a geometrically perfect, straight line tracing from Minnesota down through Wisconsin into Iowa and across to Illinois. It's incredibly calculated. It absolutely implies a synchronized flight path.
Section 4. Destination, Baraboo.
So if we take that mathematically precise trajectory and project it forward, the exact termination of this flight path rests directly over the Badger Army ammunition plant in Baraboo, Wisconsin. Now let me be clear, this is not just some random stretch of Midwest farmland. No, it is one of the most highly classified secure weapons facilities operated by the United States military. Now officially, the military lists this plant as nothing more than a storage and disposal facility. Just a boring warehouse, right? Well, my contact in the local county administration actually pointed me to some declassified documents from 2003 that prove a much deeper history. It was actively used for classified weapons testing. Spanning a massive 7,400 acres and controlling its own restricted airspace, it has the absolute perfect infrastructure to serve as the epicenter for an advanced surveillance network. So staring at this perfectly straight line ending at a classified military base, we have to ask a terrifyingly logical question. What if these sightings weren't alien UFOs at all? What if they were highly classified military drones moving in a massive coordinated data-collecting formation? And what if, on May 26th at 2:47 p.m., just one of the nodes in this grid simply malfunctioned? What if it dropped its camouflage, became visible to the naked eye, and accidentally exposed an entire surveillance grid operating right above the Midwest? Because if that's true,
You gotta wonder, what else is flying above us right now, completely undetected?
Let's wrap this up in Section 5, Analyzing the Official Story.
Unsurprisingly, the military officially refuses to comment any further on the Baraboo connection, basically blanketing all the events of May 26th as mere atmospheric anomalies. But come on, remember what our local pilot said earlier? Atmospheric anomalies do not coordinate a 22-minute multi-state trajectory. Weather balloons definitely do not execute perfectly straight geometric flight paths, nor do they make dead silent 90-degree turns that completely defy conventional physics. The official story is just fundamentally incompatible with the data we have.
At the end of the day, we are left with undeniable facts that no amount of official denial is ever going to erase. On one single afternoon, 8 separate, concurrent reports were logged across 5 different states. They formed a literal perfect line on a map, and that line pointed directly to a classified weapons facility perfectly capable of housing advanced drone technology.
So, when you look at the raw evidence, this perfectly straight line cutting right across the American Midwest, connecting 22 minutes of impossible anomalies straight to the heavily guarded gates of a classified weapons facility, well, you tell me what that really means. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.
Come to me, chickens! Cock-a-doodle-doo!